Welcome back to the channel. I am the King once more for the second episode of Grand Theft Auto 3. I hope all have been well. Everything has been going good. Now let's go ahead and get into some Grand Theft Auto. Old school style. Nostalgic and classy. Just like jazz. So on today's episode, it is going to be focused on completing the Paramedic missions all the way up to level 12 in one go. So my best tips for this is to not do what I did. You want to crash your car as least as possible, because making it all the way through level 12, you have to do this in one go, and it is necessary for 100% completion of the game. And you also get unlimited sprint time once you do complete the 12th level. So number one, do not crash your car that much. Try to save the health of it as much as possible, as you only get this one vehicle. The second thing is that you are allowed to pick up 3 passengers at a time. Use that to your advantage as well. So the first 3 levels are pretty simple, as you're able to pick up all the people in one go. Once you go past the 3rd level is when you start running into making multiple trips to the hospital. Knowing your routes, picking up people that are in close proximity, as every time you pick somebody up, it adds more time to your timer, because you do have a time. You are on a schedule to make these deliveries back to the hospital. And as well, when you are driving, make sure to use of everything. I mean, even sidewalks, you're able to just freely traverse down. As well as you just saw right there, right when they open those doors, which is what I was speaking about in the last video, they are automatically in the car. There is no animation that they are going to fall out or grab onto the door and be dragged behind. Right when they open the door, you are able to drive off, and that helps you save time, which is much needed when you do things such as paramedics missions, as well as the taxi mission, and whenever you pick someone up and you need to get out in a hurry, as well as trying to avoid getting busted by the police. So these are things to keep in your mind, in the back of your head. I wouldn't even say the back of your head. You need to keep this in the front of your head, because it is going to really save time and get you through these difficult time restraint missions. Another big tip for a vehicle like the ambulance and for the paramedic missions is when you go around the corner, this vehicle can flip. It has happened to me before. I've been very close to level 12 or on level 12, and it has flipped, and it's all gone. You got to go back and start all the way over again. So the best way to turning in this vehicle and other types of vehicles that are bigger in size like this is to use the handbrake. When you use the handbrake, it does not cause the vehicle to lean as much to the side, so you're able to have more traction on the ground, and it doesn't shift the weight as much to the different sides of the vehicle when you turn, causing it to flip over. And for those of you who don't know, there are 2 styles of braking. There's regular braking, and then there's hand braking. Braking is usually, I'm playing on PlayStation 4, so braking would be square, and hand braking would be the top right trigger, R1. So you are going to want to utilize R1 when using this vehicle on the PlayStation, because it is going to keep your vehicle grounded. You don't want to be flipping this thing over. If not for the sake of the people inside, it's for you completing the mission. Now, I do it a little bit sloppy here. It is not entirely clean, but I am able to get through it, as you will see later on in the video. Another good tip is for when you're driving and you're holding down the gas, you don't always want to hold down on the gas. So using X, you are going to accelerate. And yes, you do want to get through this as quickly as possible, but you have to keep a good note in the front of your mind that accuracy is a big part of this too. It is not just speed, it is speed and accuracy. You want to drive as clean as possible. You want to know your routes and know where people are and get the most efficient and effective way of picking people up. And one of the most efficient ways to drive in this game, this does not just start here, but it helps in numerous parts of the game in fastly getting through the city as well as avoiding other cars and objects within the world, is that at a point where you need to start turning and maneuvering the vehicle, you let go of the acceleration button. That way you are more easily able to maneuver your vehicle. It helps you get in and out of tight spaces, make quick decision turns, make quick decision pivots of places that were once open that are now a hazardous zone, and change the odds in your favor. Shortcuts is another big thing. That's going to ensure that you don't spend as much time taking the long route, but just make sure that it is safe. As right before I was going through that grass, you want to slow down because the uneven terrain can easily flip your vehicle as well as damage it, so that is not something you want to continuously put as a strain on this vehicle when you're trying to get all the way to level 12. And even as going in the hospital, I was a little bit too fast and was smacking into some of the sides, pinballing it, bumper cars with the rails. So those are just some of my tips. I mean, if you have any others, feel free to let me know down in the comment section, and go ahead and comment yourself. Maybe if you have something else to add to it. I mean, this is a community of people helping each other out. And this also transpires to all of the games itself. People want to go fast, but you have to slow down. And not only in the game, but just anything, man. You gotta slow down and think about it, take your time, and just react to the situations that are being thrown your way. Alright, so I'm all the way to level 6 now. And you can build your timer up, and that's great. That's what you want to do, but anytime you deliver all of the patients back to the hospital, it is going to restart you back at 40 seconds. Now there's two ways of doing that once you get your time restarted. You can either pick up people farther away from the hospital because you are still getting time as you pick them up, if you can pick them up in clusters, or you can pick them up closer to the hospital. Merely, that is up to you. I would say the more important thing is picking up people that are closer together, because you can build a time bonus and give yourself as much time as you really need, because time is it's not a want factor, it is a need factor in this mission. And unlike the taxi mission and the firefighter mission, as well as the vigilante police missions, you have to do this all in one go to level 12. Driving carefully, like I have said before, more so hitting pedestrians, getting a warning level. You don't want to do that either. The more that you gain, the more problems you have. You might get thrown out of the vehicle and end it shortly, abruptly, or even close to where you're trying to end at. So do be mindful of things like that as well. But the reason that I am doing this so early is that there's actually a few reasons. One of them being this city is fairly easy to complete this, and I do know the city very well. At a certain point in the main storyline, you have a lot of hostile targets that continue to remain hostile. So I don't want to push this for that time, as it complicates things. People are now shooting at your vehicle. You're not just worried about driving in territory that is non-hostile. And I did want to showcase this as well and just show y'all how I did it. That's always a big thing, making sure that you don't run full blast into those little sandboxes, as well as avoiding the dips in the road, because that can throw you off pretty easily as well.
Hey, see my knee? That's not my knee. My name's Crab, but I guess you knew that.
Alright, so right here I see I have two people to the right. I'm going to take these stairs, go slowly over them. That way I'm not having to drive all the way around the road, waste time, go back. I got two people right here that I can just pick up off the street. Also, know where everything is full. Well, not two people, my bad, only one, because I am getting full. Know how many people you're carrying and where they enter, because if you have one person in the passenger and one person in the back, the next person is going to go in the back. And if you have one person in the passenger, the next person has to go in the back, versus two people in the back, the other person has to get inside the passenger. So when you pull up to the patient, you know where to pull up. It saves time. That way they can just go ahead and hop in where they're needed. Now, when you don't have anybody in the car, I'd say just pull up right next to them so they can hop in the passenger or they can hop in the back. But you don't want them having to run from where they are if you can help it. Also, running people over, kind of tricky. You can accidentally kill them, which is going to fail the mission. Oh, and as well it wastes time, which is something you don't have a lot to afford. You got, I mean, it gives you room for error, but you don't have much room. And this is not an easy side mission, but like I said before, it is one needed for 100% completion of the game, which is exactly what I'm going for. So, yeah, just be mindful of these things. Watch the video, take notes off of what I've said. If I think of anything else, we still have quite a bit of the video to go, so I'll tell y'all, but I think that basically covers most of everything. And right there, I only have a short amount of time left, around 10 seconds, but getting that guy, it's going to add some time. I got 30 seconds to get to the hospital. He was close, so that's not a big drive for me. I don't got to mess around with maneuvering through the city. That's just bam, bam, quick. Thank you, man. Okay, so on level 8, I see these 3 clusters of people over here. Now, to be fair, I could have taken that street before, but decided not to. And right there was a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. Right when he grabbed on, I just zoomed off. And he still was able to get inside the vehicle, no problems. Another thing the handbrake helps with is whenever you need to make a stop, especially on an incline like that, if you brake and handbrake at the same time, it's going to hold your car in place. That way you're not accidentally running people over and you stop on the dime right where you were stopping, which is a big help anywhere, whether it's on a hill, flat land, downhill, you name it. Now, you can use the siren. I'm personally not a big fan of it. Sometimes it causes vehicles to move erratically, and I'm not sure where they're going to move. Sometimes they'll pull into my direction, and to me, it messes things up more. So I like to not use them. That way, I know that traffic is usually going to remain at what it is. I do still have to take into account of people turning because there's no blinkers in this game. And that is something you got to take into effect, is you can easily smack into the back of somebody because you didn't know that they were turning right when you were. You thought that they were going to go straight or turn left. And I was honestly freaking out about being where I was at this early on. I mean, I'm on level 8, and I still have more to go. And my vehicle's already smoking. So I try to drive more carefully. But I was hoping that it didn't hinder me from my reckless driving in the beginning. Because I was trying to do good, and you're not going to be able to drive perfectly all the time. It's just managing of and trying to drive as carefully as you possibly can, because it really, really helps you out. If I can stress that, that would be one big thing, is drive carefully in these vehicles, especially the ambulance on the paramedic missions. Or missions. There's 12 of them. And then right there, I tried to turn a little bit too early. I hit oncoming traffic. So you want to swing into the lane that traffic flows. So I should have swung wider, because turning in this game uses both of the bottom bumpers. I mean, turning your camera to the right and left. So R2 being right, L2 being left, to look left to right to see what's basically around the corner. So turning wide ensures that you're not going to hit a car that you really can't see that's coming in that oncoming lane of traffic. You call that a car? It's not, homie. It's a ambulance. And unfortunately, right there, he just swerved right into me. Some things you just can't control. Like I said earlier, you can try to drive as perfect as possible, but things kind of end up popping up. And you can even play with the siren and see when it works to your favor. There are times that it does. Sometimes I just accidentally hit it. But that always helps too, looking behind you, seeing where traffic is, where people are, making sure that if you do need to turn, there's no one behind you, or where they are. That way you can just maneuver yourself in a path that you're not endangering yourself, the vehicle's health. So come back around here and pick this guy up. He's kind of straggling out near the ports. I don't exactly like that, and I don't want to save it too much for later. I'd rather get it done now. I mean, as the port is close to the hospital, I just find it awkward to maneuver around. And the road isn't always the road. Like I said, shortcuts, whether it be through grass, alleyways, big help. As long as you maneuver through them carefully. Alright, now that I got them rescued, I'm going to go ahead and pick up, I believe I only have 3 people left, at least for this part of the mission. This level of the ambulance mission. I got good time, I'm sitting well, being careful, taking my time, not getting stressed over things not exactly being where I want them to be. Just making the best of my situation, looking at where the patients are, determining the best route of picking them all up. Right here, going pop, get him. And the patients will go to the closest place they can. So since I pulled from the back, that's where he was closest to, he will get in there. I really should have kind of pulled around, but me speeding off right when he got in got me to get away from that cop. That's a scary moment, man. I was thinking that, I mean, that was it. I just ended it right there. So that's why I say be careful about messing with the police on things like this, because it easily can go south, sideways very fast for you. So now that I got all 3 of them, just drop them off at the hospital. Which is, well, if you were running low on health, the hospital always has health, and it is free. Just to go pick it up, bumps you right back to 100. So I'm going to skip that first guy. He's close enough. Not worried about him. Get these other 3 that are a little bit farther away. Now that level 10 is here, really close to the end of it. So this is where you want to focus more. Avoid doing stupid things like that. Once again, I'm going to save that guy. He's close to the hospital. There's this one lone straggler I want to go pick up, because those are the ones that scare me. I don't like leaving these types of patients to last, just because they are so far out and across the map. Anything can happen, and I don't like leaving it to that type of chance. You got more distance, which is just more time for something to pop up in your way and do something unexpected that you can recover from, but you may run out of time. I think it's crazy how much they bleed too. Like there's like bleeding out when you pick them up, and then they're just instantly okay. Like that is not a good amount of blood to be losing. You're just creating a trail everywhere you go. There's literally a pool of blood where they're standing. All right, come on, get in. Let's get you guys or gals. I actually didn't really see who I picked up. Back to the hospital. That way I can go ahead and get the other patients. So after I drop them off, I have 4 more left. So sometimes you are gonna, once you get farther along in these missions, you are gonna run into times where you are gonna have to leave people behind, and they might be the only ones that's riding in your ambulance when you're going back to the hospital. But it is a big bonus to pick up as many as you can at a time, because like I said, once they enter your vehicle, bam, you get more time, and it's easier to deliver more people at once than to be delivering 2 and then picking up 2. At the end, you're just making, at some points you're making too many trips. If you just picked up one person, dropped them off, one person, dropped them off, you're making way too many trips, and you're not going to be able to get through level 12 doing that. And then straight fire can hit you as well. That is not cool. Alright, go get this little lone straggler over here. He's by where, I think it's Leon does his missions. I already forgot his name. But yeah, that, no, it's Joey. My bad. It's not Leon. Where Joey does his missions. So, very close to the hospital. That's why I like to leave him right there. Go ahead, drop this lone straggler off. Alright, now is the, getting into it right here, level 11. So, I got this one, and then 12. And then that's going to be the paramedic missions out of the way early on. And then I'll have a limited sprint. Very nice little reward to gain for this. For your troubles of doing this, they are high, yes. This is not an easy feat whatsoever, but it is well worth it, especially with the reward that you get being unlimited sprint that can save you from so many things. And they can get in from far away sometimes, but you do gotta, there is a vicinity you gotta get in, so played a little bit around testing that. Took some time off, but not bad, only a few seconds. Alright, let's whip and dip all around this. Get back to the hospital. And that's one of the entrances that gives me the most trouble because it is so narrow. So that is one to be careful around. Let's go get these people that are farther out. And I like this setup right here. They're very close proximity. Not only are all 3 of them in close proximity, but I can get that guy, that's 20 seconds. I can easily make it to the next, and the other person is on the same street, not even 5 feet away, really. I mean, right as he got in, this guy's running to get into the back as well. Now, I am taking the long way here because I do not like cutting through the grass to get to the hospital. There's trees that you can hit, and at this moment, this ambulance is not in great shape. I'm not gonna lie. I was sweating bullets as I was doing this. So sometimes decision making just has to be based upon, can you damage the ambulance a little bit? If yeah, then and you're short on time, I'd go for the shortcut. That's a little bit risky, but don't push the risk if it's more than what you're gonna get out of it. And this guy is just in a weird spot, so easiest thing to do is just back in. That way he can hop in the bag because I have an open space there, and then just kind of peel out, go slow, watch out for cars, adjust, pivot my vehicle to where it needs to be. Alright, get these last two peeps, get back to the hospital, and then it is on the last and the last, the big kahuna, so to say, level 12. Alright, so if y'all look at the top right at my time, you're going to see what I was talking about. Whenever you complete it, it is going to go to 40 seconds. I have more than 40 right now. And then boom. Actually, no, I had 50. I had 50. Never mind. I was wrong. So that is why it's do build time. Building time is very key. Alright, so this is the last level, level 12, all in one go. Very stressful at that. So my ambulance is starting to smoke a bit. Now is the time to be careful. White smoke means you're not doing great, but you're not in a horrible spot. Black smoke, which is kind of what this is getting at, that means don't hit this vehicle very much more because it's about to catch on fire. And once that happens, you are done. Your best action is to jump out of the ambulance, cut your losses, be happy with the money that you got, learn for next time. That way you don't make the same mistakes over and over again. Alright, so that's one trip. I got 3 more left, so 3, 3, 3, 3. That's 12. So 4 trips of 3. Another technique I do like to use is what I just did there, that reverse and then you spin out into a 180 to go in the direction that you want while looking back. That way you know if nobody's coming, you can easily flip around, get back. It gives you a little bit of momentum and it just helps you maneuver around without having to go down a street and turn down and waste time doing that. You can just flip around right on the street that you're already on. Keep accidentally hitting that beam there. Oops. Well, you're lucky. I am in an ambulance. I'll just add you to the list. I mean, granted, these people have a pool of blood around them. That person is probably in worse shape than all of these people combined. Alright, get in. Thank you. And I believe actually the farther away you are, the more time that you get for getting them in your vehicle just to compensate for getting back to the hospital. maneuver around that destroyed bridge real quick. Very close to the hospital, and then I got those other 3 patients in a very close cluster. It was going to help out, especially with a minute left on the clock. This is great timing. There are points that I wished had worked better, but that doesn't always happen. I was able to adjust, readjust, and complete this in a very good swoop of time. Good time remaining. I'm actually still getting time right now. Go pick up these last 2 patients that are on the same street. Grand, easy, awesome, amazing, 777s. I should say, honestly. And once again, I could take that quick route through the left, through that grass, but I'm not going to do that. I have the time. I am going to take it, and I'm going to go up this street to where I can see what's going on, maneuver around those vehicles, bust this left turn, bust another left turn, and then stroll right on into that blue zone right there. And that is 78 people saved. Ladies and gentlemen, the paramedic mission has been done. And that is a little bit of gameplay, how I did it. Some good tips to take into account if you're struggling with this, as it is not an easy mission. Well, it's a side mission, but it is not an easy side mission. Yes, it does help you out in your driving and your skills and things of that nature. Great for money as well. 78 people to pick up, and once you hit level 12, bam, it's done. You have unlimited sprinting, and you get to learn the town a little bit, so you know how to maneuver through it when the need arises through missions or taxi missions or vigilante missions. You just know this is one part of a 3-part cities, Portland. You get to know it a little bit more. Alright, so I'm getting near the end of this video. I'm going to go ahead, park this in the garage. So I do have a car, save the game. I do want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry, I just got like way lost in my train of thought. It's pretty early, just got off of work, and but thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Leave a comment if you got something to say, anything. Go ahead and drop one. Be sure to subscribe if you do like the content. That way you can go ahead and keep up with it. Hit the notification button if you want to be notified every time I make a new video, as I do post quite frequently. Well, as anyways, thank you for watching, and enjoy. Peace.